Buy on MTG. Construct your deck. Command your board. Conquer the table.
Hello out there in the wide world of web. This is Rob with Buy on MTG. This is the 100th episode, so it's definitely something that when I initially started, I was not under the impression I would do. I tend to, the joke is my hobby is finding hobbies. So I expected this to be a temporary hobby, and starting in September, what are we, five months deep, something like that, a little over 5 months deep. And it's been a lot of fun meeting folks on the internet and making some really cool connections and cool acquaintances along the way. Definitely, I would have to say Savannah Lion gives me comments on like every video, and I really appreciate the time you take and the interaction and whatnot. The idea that I had come up with for the 100th episode is there were a ton of learning hurdles along the way, and I thought I would walk around with a GoPro around the studio and talk things through and explain what I've learned and some of the most difficult aspects of doing this. And by no means am I an expert, but I do believe my video quality and the quality of my content is getting better. So I figured I would take the opportunity and try and share some of the things that I've learned to help other aspiring brand new YouTubers get their footing and learn from my mistakes, so you don't have to go through the hardship of it. And I'm going to do this video in different chunks. So I'm going to record some of me talking, and then I'm going to cut to the GoPro where I was not using one of my new lav mics. So the audio quality is probably not going to be top tier because it's just the microphone on top of the GoPro. But it's good enough that I think you can understand and I'll be legible. But yeah, so let's get into it. So this is basic of how the studio is set up. You'll notice I have sound dampening panels on the ceiling, some sound dampening on the walls, and carpet, small piece of carpet, and another one. This is all pretty much just to dampen the sound of the room to reduce the echo. The camera that I record with for gameplay and top-down stuff is a Canon XC10, and I use a Rode boom mic. The primary objective is to try and maintain some level of 4K video. The overhead lights cause an extreme amount of glare on the cards. So I have 4 of these. These are just little panel lights. They're RGB LED panel lights, and they're on a C stand or a J stand, depending on what you prefer to call them. They are Bluetooth controlled, but I will say the app for these is not the best, so I just manually set them up. The trick that I haven't been able to find anywhere. Okay, so if you look at the light, it is approximately a 45-degree angle from the play space and on the J stand to kind of suspend it up above. The reason that I do that, and it's basically how light in a camera sensor functions. So if the light comes from here and straight down to the play space, it's going to reflect in the opposite degrees, so it's going to bounce right back up into that camera sensor. So both of these ceiling lights have to be off. Where if this is at a 45-degree angle, it's going to hit the play space and reflect up to the opposite side of the room. None of the light is going to reflect into the camera sensor, so you will preclude having glare. The reason I have 4 of them is because I essentially put one behind each player, and I do that so that way the lights are still nice and bright, that you can read the cards, because without the ceiling lights on, it's far too dark. I also run 2 small key lights, one here just reflecting to the wall to bounce, and the other is here reflecting to the wall to bounce, to illuminate the room a little bit better. But the one next to the computer serves double duty, because when I am recording, I have this Rode NT1, and that is a GoPro 13 for my webcam. But this light reflecting off the wall illuminates my face pretty well, so that way when I'm doing deck techs and videos like that, it illuminates pretty well. I run the Rode through this little Focusrite. I had that previously. I mean, it works great with the Rode, but I had it previously because you can hard mic or hard line a guitar or a bass into that. And I was messing around with, there's a couple different softwares that you can play guitar, and it's more or less similar to playing Rock Band, but with a real guitar. Collection, storage. I keep all of the tokens in alphabetical order, so that way during gameplay we can use the correct tokens. On the side of each table, I have a stack of commonly used tokens, mana tracking, dice, +1s, life trackers, and I keep that on both sides of the table, so that way we can try and maintain an active play space. I keep this old phone in the center of the table, and I use that for the life tracker app, so that way we can have proper life tracking management, and you can see that displayed in the center of the videos, and it's nice and clear with this. So originally I was running this using an HDMI all the way down to a Camlink video capture card, but I have noticed, regardless of that being a 4K capture card, it was not allowing this camera to display its full video quality. So to alleviate that, I record this on its own CFast 2 memory card, and then I save it separately, and I import it when I do video editing. The GoPro I'm currently recording on traditionally will sit right here, and this is on a cart that I can scoop back slightly, so that way I can get a clean shot and everyone can introduce themselves. And I control that using Stream Deck in OBS Studio, and currently I'm using a Ceramonic 4 lav mic setup that is located, just the lavs are in this drawer, and although they're not the best, they're functional for what I'm doing. And I was relying on just this Rode mic to record the audio for the game, but I was getting a little bit too much, I don't know, just sound echo in the room, even with the carpets, as I referenced earlier, and all the sound dampening. It was still echoing too much. But I pushed the Ceramonics, the lav mics, and the GoPro using the Stream Deck into this laptop, and this laptop just records on OBS Studio, and I save that MP4 in conjunction with the Canon's, I don't remember the file format, it's a different file format, and then I edit them in this computer. I have been using CapCut just because it was free, but when I started doing the cinematography class, they had recommended, and they're teaching specifically to use Adobe Premiere Pro, and as a student it's very affordable, so I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro now, and I've only done one video thus far using it, and the video that I'm recording that you're watching currently will be edited on Adobe Premiere Pro. When it comes to using Adobe Premiere Pro, I know for me it felt like it was a very, I don't know, intimidating aspect, because you're thinking, oh man, this is something that can be used at a professional level. And although that's true, I obviously don't use it at a professional level, but having the tools available, and as you slowly learn new aspects of it, it will help your editing and give you the tools so you don't outgrow the process. When I started out, I was just using CapCut, and it does a lot of things automatically for you. It's got a bunch of buttons that just say like AI audio fix or AI video fix, and it takes some liberties in that. It doesn't necessarily do the thing you wanted it to do. It helps, and it is a very strong entry point, but I do believe it is something that you will outgrow depending on how seriously you take learning new skill sets. If you're the type of person that you just want to get the basic understanding and throw something together, then it'll probably work great for you indefinitely. If you're the type of person who perpetually seeks to make things a little bit better, I think you're going to outgrow it.
To go back to the collection storage, all of the tokens, I have basic lands on a little land sorter. This is pretty much the working capital of the collection where it comes to singles for deck building. You'll notice I do upgrade a lot of pre-constructed decks. All of these are pre-constructed decks, all double sleeved in the exact same format, utilizing Dragon Shield inners and matte black Dragon Shield outers.
Within this drawer, you're going to notice that all of the cards are in individual little container storage areas. My buddy Jason 3D printed all of those for me, and that's really how I can keep the cards organized and without them falling all over the place. I'm going to include a picture of what the little cubbies look like.
These are additional precons that I haven't sleeved up yet, but will be coming in the future. And then the rest of this tool chest, singles and precons, you have the shipping and supplies, because I do sell the singles opened from pack breaks on TCG Player. Then lights and sound, camera stuff, booms and clamps, paper for the printer, cables, and then the bottom is just a catch-all drawer. That's why it's not labeled. I have sleeping dogs assisting me. This is the basic setup. This is an older iPhone, and this light reflected off of the wall illuminates for pack breaks really well. So when I just do the vertical shot pack break, this is connected via Bluetooth to the laptop, and I just use OBS Studio to record the pack breaks individually, and I format them for shorts just using this. And yes, you could use your phone and move it back and forth, but I had an old phone, so I just left it here and I just swing it out to record. I have a cat assisting me. That's Evie in there. Oh, it's too dark. And that is Willie. He's a parking lot dog. And that is Lexi. We caught her, enticed her with a taco about 10 years ago. And yeah, we have a bunch of free animals. I got a mini fridge. I plan on putting the Buy an NTG logo on there. I think that would look pretty cool. And I'm trying to put more decoration things up on the walls. That's myself and my beautiful wife. But to, I don't know, make the room feel like it is somewhat of a YouTube studio. This is the Flibblethip that I move around periodically. He's been in this position for quite a bit, so I'll probably move him to another spot here shortly.
So I did kind of breeze past the editing rig itself. The biggest thing that I've noticed is majority of this feels like it would be extremely GPU sensitive, but at the end of the day, the CPU that you're running makes a pretty big impact when you're using different functions within video editing. So if I do an audio repair, I feel like that is a lot more CPU intensive as opposed to GPU. But when I do video cleanup or scrubbing, things like that, those lean on the GPU a little bit more heavily. I would say that if you have a reasonable gaming rig, so a majority of people that do enjoy card games or really YouTube stuff within my friend group are also into computer gaming. So a lot of their personal PCs or their gaming rigs, they can pull double duty. So I'm running a 4080 for the GPU and an AMD, what is it, 7900X 3D, and it it edits really really well, and I've never had any major issues. Some of the biggest hurdles that you will find are buying cheap cables. So if you get a USB Type C cable because you're attempting to pass data, if you get a cheap quality cable, for some reason they just don't pass data like a high quality cable. So if you're trying to push a video or audio feed, even if it's a short distance, if you're using a Type C USB but a cheaper, lower quality cable, you get little breaks in the quality because they can't keep up with the data. So I will say one of the lessons learned is don't skimp on your cables because you get what you pay for from that perspective.
This is top to bottom what the studio looks like currently, and the things that I've had to do along the way to try and make high quality content. And hopefully you can learn from the mistakes I've made. And of course, if you have any questions or comments or suggestions.
Overall, this definitely has a lot of jumping all over the place. There's different aspects that I was trying to cover. Like the big thing that I was blown away by was just learning the way that light reflects and camera sensors accordingly, because I've been perpetually battling card glare for months now, and every time we would move something or I would get a new light, I would be moving things around for an hour. And now just using that basic concept of the 45-degree, making sure that the light doesn't reflect straight up to the camera sensor has been a game changer. Ensuring that you have good audio quality is, I won't say it's easy. I will say just take the time. You can see how close this mic is. I don't know, maybe 10 inches from my face. And to get good audio quality, don't turn the sensitivity up on the microphone. Sit closer to the microphone, and that will help quite a bit. Similar to switching to the lav mics. The lavaliers that I do have are a little bit cheaper quality, and they break in the audio reception. And I've been looking to and spoke with a gentleman, Brad. Thanks, Brad. That works in conjunction with Ceramonic regarding a better lavalier system. And I'm most likely going to upgrade here shortly, because if I'm trying to make something professional quality, I want to take the opportunity to, I don't know, make it as good as possible within budgetary constraints. That's why I went with the camera that I went with. Yes, there's substantially better cameras, but I got my Canon XC10 used from B&H at a very reasonable price. So although it's not, I don't know, a Blackmagic 6K Pro, it's still a good quality camera and gives 4K, which is as good as YouTube allows you to do anyways. So I figured if that's my bottleneck, then I'll go to that bottleneck and I'll sit there. Similar to using these GoPros that we're recording on now. GoPros record in a 5.3 quality, and that is more than enough. I actually use the GoPros. I have GoPro mounts for the interior of my Jeep for off-roading stuff, and I intended on doing a sub-channel for off-roading from the inside of the Jeep, but that's something that I haven't done yet, because trying to learn how to do this, make sure that the Magic Channel's going well, in conjunction with learning all of the lighting and sound aspects, the camera aspects, and then really going full on into enrolling back to college so that way I can get cinematography training specifically. I just haven't had the opportunity to get back out there to some of my other hobbies. Like I said earlier, the joke is my hobby is finding hobbies, and I find a lot of them. The GoPro mounts for my kayak, for fishing, and yeah, I don't think I've ever used them. Either way, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope if you have any questions, please put them in the comments down below. I would love to, I guess, alleviate some of the growing pains that I've had for aspiring YouTubers or people who just feel like they don't know exactly where to start, so they just don't. And that was me for many years until really my wife just said, quit messing with it and just do it. And I appreciate her pushing me in this direction. But even more so, as a community, I like that we can help and support one another and grow as a community to make a better quality product at the end of the day. If there's something that I'm doing and a light system or a sound dampening system or a lav mic system that you're like, oh, I use this and it's amazing, put it in the comments. I would love to take the opportunity to read through and learn and share as a community and grow as a community. Overall, hope you're all having a great day. I'm Rob. This is my 100th episode, and good luck and have fun.
Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below.